Welcome back. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi. And today we're going to be talking about uncollateralized lending. The sexiest thing I've ever said, I-Man.
Dude, that's pretty hot. Who doesn't want to talk about that?
Yeah, who doesn't?
But it's not just that. Well, okay, that's
what underpins society.
That's the wet dream for DeFi, right? Non-collateralized loans, but a lot goes into even making that a viable option for DeFi protocols, right? So
yeah, they have a uphill battle to complete here.
Because so let's explain what is a non-collateralized loan, right? Because we know collateralized lending pretty well because that was the fuel to the last DeFi cycle, right? 4 years ago when we first started this podcast, those were the first DeFi projects that were emerging. It's like, hey, yeah, we'll send you a loan, a DAI crypto loan, but you have to put in more collateral than what you're actually taking.
We'll send you $10 as long as you post up 15.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to us, we're like scratching our heads, like, dude, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But some people do because these.
I mean, it kind of made sense. Like if you had 10 Bitcoin and you could take out a loan off of 10 Bitcoin, they'll give you 5 extra.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. So it's like
you're not risking your Bitcoin, but you kind of are risking it, but you're sort of leveraging it without spending the actual asset.
That's right. And there's not too much tremendous risk on the protocol side of things, the lender side, right? Because they have the collateral at stake. So it's not like the worst thing that could happen is the value of the collateral being too volatile. Therefore, the loan is fucked. Yeah. So that's the highest risk. And that's why this was a little easier to conceptualize and to roll out these DeFi primitives. Yeah. And they came and they're still not, they didn't go, right? They're still here. They're still present. Yeah. But you're right. The golden goose for all financial instruments is being able to enable a digital economy where people can come in and borrow.
So let me ask you, why is it so important for non-collateralized loan lending to exist?
Well, I think because most people just don't have assets.
Well, that's how our entire society is built on.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, most people don't have assets. They just have debt, right? Right. Your house, I mean, it's debt. Your things that you spent like a lot of money to acquire, you borrowed money to get them, right? So it's
but even if you have money, this is still useful and valuable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's not for those who don't have money and they want to buy a house. Yeah. It is for those who also have money, but they don't want to risk their assets.
Capital. Yeah. Like outright. Yeah. Instead, what do you risk instead? Your reputation. As a borrower, right? Yeah. So that's one of the primitives I think that's obviously lacking, not just for DeFi and non-collateralized lending, just across the board. Yeah. Establishing, because we're building like little pockets of digital societies when it comes to the ecosystems that emerge from individual layer 1 blockchains. Sure. You can almost think of that as like a country forming, right? You got participants, you got stakers. They're not leaving in the same sense. You kind of like stake your time and value into a country. You have a lot of incentive to participate and stay there and help it flourish, right? Because that's to your benefit. Yeah. So having said that,
now we're talking about why uncollateralized lending is important, but why we're talking about it is because we believe that this is another sector that's going to mimic the potential of AI or the metaverse or things like that have the potential to create a mania. Yeah, like this is going to be one of them, just because this is such a primitive, such an important part of the future of DeFi.
Yeah, so it's needed, right? So it's part of our job here on the Block Runner, is especially during a bear market. Yeah, there's not much to be. All the old stuff, it's old stuff, right? NFTs, even metaverse, PFP stuff. Like that's not going to be what reinvigorates the markets and gets everyone's attention again, right? Right. We're not going to be able to get people interested in the same stuff. So something new has to come about. So we've been talking about AI, like you said, and this whole identity / like I guess DeFi 2.0 phase. Sure. This is big. This is stuff that can get people interested in, and it shows signs of maturation across the board. There's evolution happening here amongst Web3.
Yeah, right? and this is such an important primitive where you could enable like the entire human population to exist on the blockchain.
You could.
And operate on the blockchain.
You could, but this comes obviously with their own risks, right? So first of all, we got to establish the identity primitives, right?
Yep, that's right.
And there's a process to that. So we're going to have tons of people or projects probably throw their name in the ring. Just, there's a lot of wallet providers, right? MetaMask is obviously like the ubiquitous one, but there's a bunch of other ones that offer different, variants, tweaks of features, services, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and if you're building a dApp in Web3, you have to adopt MetaMask by standard. Yeah. And you can choose to incorporate all.
That's
these
how
other
you
wallets.
access Web3 space in the first place.
So you can assume at some point if all Web3 dApps are going to need to know your on-chain identity, at least at minimum, to give you access to whatever service or product, then we have to. The market has to identify who that winner is, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So we got a couple here, I think. Quadrata.
So let's look at Quadrata.
So this is going to be.
Here we go.
So these are just a few projects we found so far. I guarantee you there's tons more.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. I think Civic is one. Remember, that's old school 2017.
I'm not exactly sure why it's not as big as it should be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either because it's been around, OG. And but anyways, that's besides the point. We'll probably have to do a dedicated video on Civic, but this is the point. Like we're identifying sectors. This is where we are as a market. Find these sectors.
Yeah.
And then we could do the due diligence on each individual project, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Quadrata is one. They have a unique approach by issuing what they call digital passports, right? Mm-hmm. So which we all know what a passport is, right? That's what we use when we're traveling to different countries, right?
Right.
That's what proves you are you.
Right.
So similar use case. I think you can mint one of these on chain. And I think it is a soul-bound token, which is another thing we've been talking about. Probably another important primitive that's rolling out.
Yeah. Thank you, Vitalik.
That's right. And you can associate a lot of things, identifiers, to this soul-bound passport of your own. So I can see a future like us, MetaZone.
Sure.
We leverage this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this soul-bound token creates an on-chain identity, and you using this ETH address that has a soul-bound token, interacting with DAOs, interacting with different on-chain interactions, allows you to create credibility and a reputation so that whenever you go for that loan, you have something to back up, a reputation.
Exactly.
And so this is why this is going to be important. So going back to what you're saying in relation to MetaMask is like if projects all have to inherently adopt MetaMask, which of these projects' identity protocols are going to be inherently adopted so that projects like MetaZone or any other Web3 project out there can know that their people, the people that are signing up or using the protocol are actually people, not bots.
Exactly.
Right? That's an important metric.
Well, yeah, and it's important for things like play-to-earn games that are like swarmed by bots.
Yes.
Right now we have a tool, like a Web3 game ecosystem, whatever, to eliminate that possibility.
If you have this soul-bound token, you can earn in our game.
Exactly. Well, you have access. So that's the point. So this is why it's almost inevitable, like some standard will come about, whether it's Quadrata or something else.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to get tied into the MetaMask experience or not, or if it's just going to be another thing you have to sign.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. But that's yet to be determined. But nonetheless, so this is step one, right?
Yeah.
So the identity protocols have to come about. Then we have to see the adoption from the dApps layer themselves, right?
Yeah, I'm still wondering whether or not a soul-bound token is really necessary, because I feel like you could develop a protocol that just tracked on-chain activity for any ETH address that is connected to this protocol.
Yeah, but isn't the problem with just ETH address is if you ruin the reputation of that, then you could just spin up a new one? You know?
But then you start with nothing. You start without history, right? So
you do, but isn't it better to as a ecosystem to kind of force people to be authentic with their actual identity, as in like you.
See, but here's the thing. So here's why this could become an issue, having a soul-bound token. What if your ETH address gets compromised? Now somebody else is you.
I think there's in the docs itself that it was a FAQ, and so there's like a burn process or something like that. So these are good questions to ask. So definitely, we'll probably have to do a much more deep dive video for all of these, go into the docs themselves.
Sure.
Which we should, because the next point I want to bring out is if we're identifying, identity and reputation is going to be a critical component to, like, you know, how these future financial protocols are even going to evaluate whether you should get access or not.
Yeah.
It's important to see like what's being considered in these algorithms, right? Yeah. So for the passport stuff, see, this is what the DApp is going to look like or look at whenever you register your passport, right?
Yeah, the user's AML risk score, from which country the passport was issued.
So that implies like an actual off-chain communication.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we have another documentation here.
That's, yeah. So now we're getting into the credit side of things. So once identity is established, so how do we leverage that, right?
Right. So we have an ability to measure somebody's credibility score.
Yeah.
Right. And so through that on-chain activity and history discovery, you're able to assign a number to individuals' ETH address that indicate one is a little bit more reliable in terms of paying.
Yeah. And if you live in the West, I guess more specifically in the United States, you're familiar with this. It's called a FICO score, right?
Yeah.
We get those. I mean, I never had to push a button, I guess, to generate mine. I think they just track it at all times.
They used to charge to get your FICO score. Now it's all free.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's leveraged by anybody who's, you know, lending you money.
Yeah.
Like car dealerships, mortgage companies, even like fucking if you're trying to get like a Best Buy credit card or something like that.
Yeah, everything,
Your FICO score is your main access point, right?
Yeah.
If you're high on the tier or in the spectrum, you get access to all kinds of, you know, good living features.
Yeah, I was able to get like one of those Best Buy credit cards for like 0% APR.
What?
Like if you were to buy something like that's more than $1,000.
Okay.
So then you get 12 months to pay.
Yeah, so you get benefits and perks.
That's good, right? Think about it. I don't have to use my money to buy this thing.
Yeah.
I can spend 12 months paying and it's not going to cost me anything.
That's right. And you're building more of a positive reputation over time. So whenever you want to make a bigger purchase, like, I'm trying to get a Bugatti.
Yeah.
I don't know if they give you from $1,000 Best Buy purchase straight to Bugatti.
Yeah.
That's the next big one.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get any sort of qualification unless you got straight hard cash.
Yeah.
Which who has
that's
kind of money?
You're spending your money incorrectly. We're just spending cash.
True. But the point is, so this is a little bit of like financial 101, right? I mean, this isn't stuff for whatever reason they don't teach you in school.
Yeah, I don't know why.
How to...
This is sort of important.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
This is some life lesson shit that I think we shouldn't have to kind of like go over. Like everyone should know this by standard knowledge, but we know. You kind of have to learn either somebody guides you, you know, parentally or something, to go down this path.
If you're lucky.
Or you got to learn by mistake. It's like once you hit 18 or whatever, they just start mailing you credit cards. Like, hey, here's free money.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I guess I get to spend all this, and then before you know it, your credit's in the pooper.
Yeah, and then you're like 60 grand in debt with credit cards.
Yeah, and you never saw it coming, dude. Yeah. Like it just hits you like a nuke. So that could happen.
It has happened.
So that's the beautiful ecosystem we're trying to bring over to Web3. That's exactly.
It's lovely. It's a beautiful place.
It is, and it's a double-edged sword, right?
It's necessary. That's the thing. It's almost required. Almost like fiat. Like fiat has enabled all this technology.
Yeah.
Right? Uncollateralized lending has enabled a society.
Well, yeah. If leveraged properly, I mean, it could aid you in so many different ways. You 100%. Know, starting up businesses, getting out of like a life crunch. You know, debt is good and bad. Yeah. Right? So just, But the point is, it's emerging in Web3. So we got Cred is one of the projects that we've identified. Another big one, Spectral. So this is, I think, in my opinion, one of the leaders of the pack. So keep in mind, none of these are like actively traded tokens yet.
Yeah.
We're kind of making the foresight prediction based on what we saw during DeFi 1.0 cycles. Like, hey, these DeFi guys are building a lot of useful shit, but none of them have tokens yet. But at some point, all of them did have tokens, right? And then it created a whole sector mania. So we're anticipating the same thing is going to happen again. That's kind of, that's the beauty of sticking around in this industry for so long, right? You get to kind of see history repeat itself.
Yeah, and it absolutely repeats itself. If it doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes.
Exactly.
And we're looking at a potential rhyme here.
Yeah, so I guess the last thing we could look at is the app itself for Spectral, just kind of get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, so I've already connected a sort of a random ETH address that I have. There's 10 USDC or USDT balance here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this macro score, which is cool.
Fuck, I forgot what that stood for, dude.
Wait, maybe
it's like multi-asset, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Thanks.
All right, so let's run this thing. So let's see my score. I'm going to sign this MetaMask transaction, and then we're going to run through this machine learning model is working for you. AI, dude. It's taking over even DeFi.
That's right. So we just have to, like, assume there's actual AI at work here and not just like...
Nah, well, machine learning is different than AI.
It's not like some guy just, like... spinning a wheel.
Yeah.
It's generated. There's your score, dude.
Perfect score.
Yeah. I mean, but we did test it out on like a few different, like a relatively fresh account, and it assigned it like a pretty low score.
Yeah.
As you would expect, right? Yeah. An account with no reputation isn't going to have a high score. Therefore, it's not going to get access to a lot of things.
Yeah. So I'm expecting a low score here. Yeah. Well, this is a lot higher than I expected. I mean, I spun this up. What was it? Does it have a date here?
Yeah, I think so.
Where was it? I thought I saw a date.
Maybe it usually does. Huh.
But this is a relatively new one, but it's a pretty good score. It's not...
Got a C.
It's not the worst.
You got a C?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you again, you live in the West, or the United States specifically, with the C, I mean, you're going to get access to things like loans. You can get a car, but you're going to get a high interest loan. You know?
Yeah, here it is. Loan opportunities coming soon. New personalized loan opportunities will be available soon. If you are interested in using Macro Score, please reach out to us here.
Yeah, very cool. So they're integrating, I'm sure, with all the existing DeFi protocols. So we're probably going to see announcements in the near future. You know, hey, Spectral partnering with Aave or whatever to now offer people personal loans.
See it in Web 2. They don't offer this.
There's no leaderboard.
There's a leaderboard.
There's a leaderboard?
753.
Dude, what a boss, dude. Can you click on him and see like his factors? Oh, you can't.
Grade A. 753 out of 850.
Wow. So nobody probably achieves an 850 yet just because DeFi is so new. I bet you like after 10 years, we'll start to see some perfect scores.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
For sure. There's perfect scores out there right now. I mean, in Web 2, in traditional space, yeah.
But yeah, like, because one of the factors to get perfect score is longevity, right? So you have to maintain that good reputation for a long period of time, right?
Yeah.
And then, with the perfect score, it probably means like, everyone's just throwing money at you, I guess. I wouldn't know. Never had a good credit myself. I have like average credit.
You know what's weird is that these lenders, they make money off of your interest. And so if you're paying off your loan, I mean, you are including interest in that in a lot of cases. So that's a good person to lend money to.
Correct. So
So
what are the downside risks, I guess, from the protocol perspective for this? Like because I could foresee a part of the boom as a result of this. Now the world has access to lending access from the blockchain. Now this can be leveraged to, use these loans to speculate on things in the market or put them into either more yield generating financial products that the Web3 has created. This is fuel for a whole new market.
Definitely.
Euphoric uprising. But what's the downside of that whenever people stop paying back their loans?
Here's what I think where the risk lies. It's in the soulbound, the identity protocol aspect of it. I want there for sure to be consequences for people not paying. If the
tough.
Consequences is just you use a different ETH address, and we don't have anything stable here.
Yeah, like people could just keep rinsing and repeating. I guess on low tier, because you just saw if you get a fresh account, you're not getting a high grade, right? Yeah. So you're not going to get access to a big fat loan,
right?
But you can get micro loans over and over and over and over and over again if you just keep spinning up new addresses.
And that would kill the economy.
That would kill the app.
Sure. Yeah.
That would kill the liquidity of whatever these apps. So there's got to be, obviously that's one of the potential dilemmas.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's no real recourse for the DApp itself. If somebody takes out a huge loan, all of a sudden there's a liquidity crisis. You can't really go after that person who fucked you and go seize their assets, you know, go put liens on their houses and stuff like that. And
yeah, there needs to be some legal backing here as well, some legal enforcement capabilities, because then people would actually probably think twice before taking out a loan.
Of course.
Yeah, take it more seriously.
Yeah, so these are the variables. I guess we're going to reach out to all these new founders if we can.
Yeah.
Because we want to get into the habit of that, like not just finding projects, but also speaking to them.
Yeah. So Quadrata, Cred Protocol, Spectral. We want to talk to you guys.
Yes.
If you guys want to come on the podcast, let us know on Twitter or email, whatever. And we'd be happy to come and chat and talk about the potential of DeFi and
DeFi 2.0.
Yeah, that's right.
What's going to happen? You guys know more than us, dude. Tell us.
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to, or what should we be a little skeptic about? I mean, have that real conversation about all this stuff. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all innovating and experimenting, especially during this phase of the market. So, I mean, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah. So, nothing to fear.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at MetaZone.io, and at RovingAI, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.